plenty of clients to go around. I say this a lot, there's plenty of sick clients to go around. There's plenty of people out there that are sick. Just look down the street. This is not competition, right? We're not competing with each other in this room. We're trying to build a community and grow together. I think there's plenty to have if we all work together versus try to do it our own way individually. Why are we doing this? Well, there's 23 CrossFit affiliates, not to mention all the other micro gym, boutique fitness studios, and everything else. I believe there's strength in numbers, and it's worth staying open. We want people open because even if they have one member, that's somebody who's hopefully moving that sickness, wellness, fitness continuum, right? They're slowly coming from either sick or well, and they're moving towards that fitness, creating that hedge against the metabolic diseases that plague our society.
Welcome to the RVA Affiliate Collective podcast, where we share stories around the business of fitness and other things going on in the local RVA fitness community. Give us a follow on Instagram at RVA Affiliate Collective. Enjoy the show. Welcome to the Collective Podcast.
Thank you.
I'm excited to have you. This is, for those who don't know, this is Mark from On the Mark Meals, the man behind the meals of Richmond. For those who don't know, who are you and what do you do?
So it's Mark Thurston. We're head chef, owner of On the Mark Meals. We've been doing this for, I guess this April will be 3 years, which is just mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, that's incredible.
But so we do customized meals, meal prep, basically. We make fully prepared meals, put them in containers. People order them, just heat and eat. More on the healthier side, right? So we're using fresh ingredients. Everything's fresh. Nothing's canned. Nothing's frozen. Just kind of clean eating, right? So it started off, everything's done through our website. So it's pre-ordered. You just order what you want for the week, and we hope you guys enjoy it.
And there's no minimums, no subscriptions, nothing like that?
No, you know what? I used to, and I guess we'll probably get into this, but I used to be in the corporate world, and I was traveling quite a bit. And although I love and know how to cook, cooking for one isn't the most fun.
No.
So there's times that I used to order meals from a meal subscription service. The raw ingredients ones, like plated Blue Apron things like that. Yeah. And that was on a subscription, so that was coming no matter what. And, life happens. I get called to a different city last minute, forget to pause this subscription. And there are more times than not, I'd come back from a trip like on a Thursday or Friday, and there's a box of raw food sitting on my porch since Monday.
Nice.
In August.
Yeah.
And
that's not good.
Starting to shake a little bit.
No.
Trying to walk away by itself. And so I'm like, you know what? These people are busy. That's why they're buying from us. Mm-hmm. I can't penalize them for being busy.
Right.
And forgetting to pause a subscription. So we're getting more and more people asking for it though. So we might make it an optional choice.
An option.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see where if someone maybe 8 months out of the year, they kind of order the same thing. Mm-hmm. They're good with the same thing happening, and they just don't want to have to remember, because the flip side of that is they forget to order, right?
Yeah. Well, we put a lot of fail safes in there to kind of help people remind them. So we send out an email, once they order from us, we kind of capture their information just like Target would. Mm-hmm. If you place one order, next thing you know, you're getting things from Target, new announcements, things like that. And
you do a text message too, I've seen.
So we send out an email on Wednesdays, and then an SMS text message. Everything obviously can opt out of if you want, but we found that that was our biggest, people's biggest deterrent is just forgetting. Yeah.
So getting that repeat business isn't that they don't want to order, they just forgot or something. And they go, I'll order for next week. And then they forget. And
right.
Gotcha.
So it helps us out a lot.
That's interesting. Well, how did you get started on this? You mentioned you're in the corporate world. So, I kind of know a little bit about your story, but I'd like for you to tell it again. You know?
Yeah. So I have a food background. I mean, studied hospitality and food in college and stuff, and worked in the field for many years. And then I got into sales. I went to go work for Cisco, the food distributor.
Sure.
So that kind of like cut my sales teeth a little bit, and then jumped from food sales into HVAC, working for some pretty large outfits in the HVAC market for many, many years. And just, downsizing and restructuring and things like that, just kind of found myself looking for work. And it wasn't as easy to find work as I thought.
Yeah.
And, I think everybody, I hope they don't, but the more and more people I talk to, just about everybody goes through that at some point. So my wife said, why don't you meal prep for people? Why don't you cook for people? We belong to a gym. Everybody's trying to eat healthier, to fuel their bodies, etc. Why don't you cook for them? And so I just made an announcement at our gym saying that, this is what I'm doing, and these are your choices. This is how much it costs. This is how you can pay me, whatever. And I need the orders by tomorrow at dinner time, and they'll be at the gym for you on Monday. Well, 24 hours goes by, and I have to make like 54 meals.
Wow.
So I'm like, oh my gosh. And it was great because I never in a million years thought I'd do this full time. It was just, something to keep my mind occupied while I'm looking.
Sure.
It helped my ego. I'll be honest with you.
You gotta be busy, right?
Just do something, and one thing led to another. Other gyms heard about us. The CrossFit community in Richmond's pretty tight.
Yeah.
So everybody knows everybody. And we went to a grand opening at another gym, and they asked us to put out a table. And I met so many gym owners because they all came to support this grand opening.
Yeah.
And they're like, we want you to cook for our gym. We want you to cook for our gym. And I'm like, time out. I'm just doing this as a little, call it beer and pizza money.
Right. Yeah.
While I'm looking for work. And it turned out that, I was doing all this out of my house. And it got to a point where, like, I have to get a real kitchen. And so we found a commissary kitchen, a kitchen for rent.
Yeah.
Kitchen Time. And they had all the equipment there. And it was just a flat rate. Just come in, sign up for your days and times. And it was great because I was able to use like commercial equipment, cook a lot more food or the same amount of food in a lot shorter amount of time. Mm-hmm. And then more and more gyms kept contacting us, and I started, took my sales background and I started calling on gyms and telling our story. And, that was in April of 2017. And, I was still trying to get back into the corporate world because I was making decent money, but, selling sweet potatoes for a living isn't great money.
Yeah. So at that point you were still thinking you would stop and go back into.
Yes. Well, I was going to maybe try to do both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Side hustle.
So I was actually kind of holding this business back a little bit because I didn't want to grow too much.
Right.
And then go back to traveling all week and all month like I was, and then coming back, I get burned out.
Sure.
I was kind of holding it back a little bit. And then I said, okay, if I don't get something by Christmas, like I'm just going to go all in. I'm just going to jump, see where it goes. And Christmas came and went, still nothing. So I said, all right. So we jumped. And we were doing probably about 200 meals a week at that point. And by Valentine's Day, so a month and a half later, we more than doubled it.
Oh, wow.
Just for putting all of our focus and energies on it and stuff. And went out to those gyms that I said, not yet. Now I'm like, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Now I'm super hungry. And so we're in a ton of different gyms around town, which is, again, it's baffling that this little kind of pet project that I was just doing just as a goof turned into a business. And, I think we have 16 different pickup locations around Richmond, which is nuts.
Yeah, that's really good.
Including the worldwide headquarters of On the Mark Meals here.
So that's right. And you're in your own kitchen.
Yes.
So you've graduated from the shared kitchen, which I think that's brilliant, really, for kind of, putting your foot in the water a little bit is there's not a whole lot of commitment there as far as like, you don't have to get equipment. You don't have to sign. It's like, hey, I've got this idea. I want to cook something, but I want to do it somewhat legitimately, you know, out of a commercial kitchen.
In order to really legally run a food service establishment, you have to have a health inspection.
Right.
Right. And you can't have a health inspection without having a commercial kitchen.
Right.
So they're not going to, Henrico County's not going to come to your home and inspect your home.
No, not even if you have a shed out back.
As nice as it might be, you have to have a commercial space. So it's perfect. Like you said, there's not a lot of initial outlay of buying equipment and all that risk and putting your money up. And so it was great. Very grateful for that place. And it just came time to, you know, we were kind of getting to that point where my dream now was to always have my own place, to have my own name on the wall.
Yeah.
And our own business name on the wall, just for visibility. Because this is going to sound very, I think braggadocious is a word, isn't it?
I guess so.
It is today.
Yeah.
But I think we're one of the best companies that nobody knows about. So if we can have our own sign on the wall, you know, people driving by or what have you, we're getting our name out there. Because it's more than just CrossFit athletes that we cater to.
Sure. I would think any busy person, right?
It's really any busy person.
Yeah.
I always thought it was just going to be somebody that didn't know how to cook.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And I found that I'd say probably 90% of our folks know how to cook. They just don't have time.
Yeah. Or they'd rather use their time for something else, right?
You know, both parents work nowadays more than ever. You know, kids are more involved in activities more than ever, you know, traveling to these activities. So it's instead of ordering by number through a drive-through or calling your favorite pizza place, which there's nothing wrong with that every time to time. But,
sure, yeah.
You know, if you want to kind of like buckle down and have some consistency, it's a solid meal, you know, fresh.
And I think it's important to feel good about the food you're eating and knowing that it's sourced from good ingredients. It's not just the mystery meat from the drive-through or whatever, right? Like you spend a lot of time in making sure you get good local ingredients, right? I believe your meats come from somewhere nearby.
So we use a broadband local distributor in PFG who's got relationships with tons of great fresh meats, poultries, and things like that. We also found a local farmer found us.
No way.
Had a meeting with them, and he raises grass-fed beef and antibiotic-free pork and things like that. And we've been buying grass-fed beef from John at Chestnut Ridge Farms for probably 2 years now.
Oh, wow. I see him at the farmer's market sometimes.
Exactly right.
He's got a little booth out there.
Yeah, you can't miss John.
Yeah.
What a great guy. But so we just try to buy the best ingredients we can.
Right.
Treat them simply with respect. You know, most of our stuff is grilled and roasted. We don't cover things up with a bunch of sauces and just good, honest cooking.
Yeah. I've heard I guess when it comes to ingredients, I've heard people say like, if you have high quality ingredients, then they can speak for themselves as far as when you taste them. Yeah, you don't have to do much. Just roast them, salt and pepper, maybe a little bit of butter or something, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's exciting. So you've got your own place now. You've been open for about 2 years. Is that right?
It'll be 3 years in April.
3 years in April.
So we're almost turning 3.
Oh wow, that's exciting.
Yeah.
So born out of a CrossFit gym, willing to service anyone who's busy, which could be anybody. Would you say that that's probably the biggest value you give to people? It's obviously the food's great quality. Everything's good. The timing, the delivery is very consistent. You don't have to worry. But at the end of the day, I've seen you actually mention this as like the person is purchasing their time back almost in a way. Would you say that's probably your biggest value?
Yeah, I was talking to somebody, I forgot where, at a networking event, I think. And he said, you know, you don't sell food, you sell time. And I was like, that's interesting. You know, I think it's really true. I mean, the amount of time that you spend, you know, creating your menu for the week at your home, you know, writing a list, going to the store, you know, taking the groceries in and out of your car, you know, putting them up. And, you know, like I said, I used to cook all the time, but I got busy, and sometimes you have all the intentions of cooking this chicken,
Yep.
And next thing you know, you look back and it's 7 days later, it's still in your fridge, and then you got to throw it out. Or, how many times has that happened? Or you buy a whole head of broccoli and you only use a little bit of it, and you're wasting, and then cleaning, forget it.
Sure.
So we do sell time. We sell convenience. We have, with all the different pickup locations that we have, there's really one that's pretty convenient for just about everybody. A lot of our customers work out at the gyms that we drop off at, so they're not making really an extra trip.
Right.
And all of our pickup locations have been very, just great overall, letting us have them be a pickup location for us. But they're also very open to non-members coming in. We have a lot of members, or a lot of customers that aren't members at these gyms,
right,
that come in and pick up. There's probably 4 or 5 at each gym.
And that's good exposure
16.
for the gym too, right? If you're in a place that maybe doesn't get foot traffic, if you're not in a strip mall and you're a gym in like in a warehouse, and people start coming in to pick up their meals because it's closer to them, they also get exposure to that business as well.
I've actually had 3 different gym owners tell me that somebody from coming in to pick up their meals on a regular basis, 3 people have joined their gyms.
Oh, wow.
One at 3 different gyms. It's just I guess it's a side benefit. It's not certainly not a guarantee, but
sure,
it can't hurt having, some people from the general public come into your.
Yeah. I mean, if you get them in there and they're not a member, the rest is on the gym owner, right? But it's still, you're getting a pretty warm lead, I would think, for that gym, because it's someone who wants to eat healthy. It's someone who's busy, but yet they're close enough to pick up at that place. So it's close enough that they could probably work out as well.
To your home, to your office, your kid's school, whatever. So it's been great.
And I imagine a lot of professionals, I would think, in maybe the corporate world, but also like in the medical world, where they're working crazy shifts, they're, firefighters, EMS, hospitals. Do you find yourself with a lot of those type of customers, or dropping off at those types of places?
We do. Not as much we haven't really tapped into the medical side. Well, we do have some nurses and some doctors and things like that, but lots of firefighters, lots of police officers, and we offer a military and first responder discount off each meal. So once I find out that you're fall into those categories, we'll set you up on our system to get that discount. So that's helped bring a lot of awareness, and people of like mind talk to each other.
Sure. So
this guy's bringing these crazy little containers to the firehouse, and like, what's that?
Yeah.
Or the guy, brings it to the police station. What is that? And it's just word of mouth is really what's kind of grown our business so far.
Wow. So what's up for year 3 in 2020?
2020. This last weekend was the first weekend in this space.
Yeah.
So we're kind of getting used to new locations for everything, different equipment.
Get your mise en place, right?
Yes. Look at you, Frenchie.
I used to do culinary arts back in the day. So that was something my chef would always tell me, is like, everything has a place.
That's right.
In the kitchen.
Exactly
right?
what it means. Mise en place. Exactly. So, but it's going to give us time to, what I've been trying to do is, when I first started, like any small business, you can imagine, you're wearing all the hats, right?
Right.
So I was in charge of, advertising, social media, purchasing, delivery, cooking, head dishwasher, the whole thing. And as our business has grown, I've been grateful enough to be able to bring some employees on, and like, I'm an employer now. Like,
how cool is that?
Like, people rely on us to, pay for their rent. And
does that give any stress with that, or is it just more responsibility, right?
Well, I've managed people all my life in different capacities and others, so that really wasn't the task. Now, some of our employees are much younger, right?
So you're making an impact on people as well.
So and that's something, right? I mean, to have, and some of them are special needs on top of it. So it's really to have them be welcomed into a space, give them some responsibility, and they have to, pay attention to detail,
right,
which not every young person does.
Sure, especially with all the
easy way out.
all the squirrels going off, and
Exactly.
all the smartphone notifications.
And of course, teaching them a real life skill of cooking.
Yeah.
At that age, we have one of our employees, Caleb. He comes home and I get texts from his parents like, "You should have seen what Caleb cooked for us the other night." Like, he loves cooking, and I'll take partial credit for that.
No, definitely.
He totally loves coming here, and we have lots of other employees that they love talking about food, and we have a lot of fun here. We don't take ourselves too seriously. If you come in here on a Friday or Saturday or Sunday, we're playing music, and there's sometimes like a dance competition, little dance off.
It's like a little party going on, huh?
I've learned how to floss. I've learned how to dab. I've learned how to,
So they're giving something back to you, huh?
That's right. So it's
you got your first TikTok video out.
That's right. That's right. But we do have a lot of fun. But it's there's sanitation involved. Mm-hmm. It's huge.
Sure.
So we've taught everybody a lot of great life lessons. But so yeah, it started off just me, but now it's a whole team. But now that I've grown the team, my goal is to kind of work more on the business than in it.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
It does. Yeah.
Where I can more strategize and see where we want to take this thing. We really want to let just the general public know. Mm-hmm. Athletes are our core, our bread and butter, but everybody's hungry.
Sure.
Everybody could probably stand to eat better. Not especially the guy cooking it all.
Oh, come on.
But we want to get our word out just to the general public.
Yeah, I would say your gyms and athletes are probably your firefighters, your military. They're probably going to be what you would say early adopters of your product. Mm-hmm. And now that you are able to step away from being inside the business, I would think it should be pretty straightforward now if you have the time in the day to mm-hmm. expand, right, and get out of the tip of the spear type people and kind of hit the general public. You might have to, I guess, adjust your messaging a little bit maybe, but mm-hmm. I think what you've been doing with getting your time back is huge, right? I mean, you got parents running around from soccer practice to soccer practice, and they're giving the kid McDonald's at the end of the day, which, I mean, unless it's a salad from McDonald's, it's probably not the greatest thing that they're having right after exercising mm-hmm. as a kid or the parent themselves. Maybe they haven't ate a decent meal all day. And
a lot of times when you get hangry, you start making poor decisions, right?
True.
So, we found that, like you said, people are just running around, taking care of their stuff, like kids' events, work events, church, whatever. Mm-hmm. So they're running around trying to get something quick. This is quick, what we offer. A lot of times I've heard that one of the parents, mom or dad, wants to eat better, but their spouse and their kids aren't going to eat this healthy stuff. Yeah. So the parent's not going to cook two different dinners.
Yeah, that's tough.
Cook the stuff that the kids and one of the spouses will eat, and then you can have your healthy meal. Yeah. We got a lot of people that they'll bring, that's their meal at work, their lunch at work. A lot of folks that this is their post-workout meal. Yeah. And we have a lot of customers that they just live off of on-the-mark meals. I mean, just like, 2 meals a day times both spouses. I mean, we're dropping bags and bags of meals off at people. So it's anywhere from, 5 meals a week to sometimes 30 meals a week for any order. Wow. And anywhere in between. We don't care.
That's great. Yeah. So you mentioned, with your staff and trying to work out on the business instead of in the business. Have you found it difficult to kind of inventory your tasks that you say you do every week and then put a value to them and figure out what is my least valuable role that I'm playing and pass it off? Have you found any kind of process that works for that?
There's no question about it. And, one of the things that it's going to sound really obvious to most, but all the recipes are up here. Oh, wow. I was doing them all, so I didn't write any recipes down. So how can I step away and have somebody else come in if they don't? So I had to spend a lot of time
just documenting your process,
documenting the recipes and things like that. So, once we've done that, a really good friend of mine said, you want to make this business system dependent rather than mark dependent.
Yep.
And I really took that to heart. And that's a recipe book is a system. Mm-hmm. Anybody can come in here. I mean, we'll show them that this is how small I want the potatoes diced.
Yeah,
or this
quality
is how
control,
fine
right?
I want the onions diced and things like that. That's training. That can be easily trained.
Sure.
But, I really found some really great staff. Our turnover is next to nothing. Everybody that's been here has really been with us almost since the beginning.
It's exciting.
And I didn't hire them all at once, but as we grew, right? But we really don't have, we've been very blessed, especially in food service. It's one of the biggest challenges to any owner in food service is good employees. Mm-hmm. So we create a good atmosphere. We pay fairly.
Yeah.
And we have fun, and it's hard work, but it's not, it's just more tedious than anything else, chopping up a 50-pound bag of potatoes,
Yeah, I would say in some food service, you might have to interact with a general public or like a customer right there, or might have to do some sort of tip share, right, if you're serving. But here, I think one advantage is that you don't typically see your customer in person, right, for most of the people preparing the meals. So they're not having to deal with like that. They're not having to do tip shares or worry about, a dining room to take care of. They just come in, they're kind of behind the scenes. They do their job, and then they go home.
Write a list for them, and when everything's done, you can go home.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's nice.
We all stay to the end.
Yeah.
And
so they have some ownership over their task, and
yeah, absolutely. We found that we have a member of our staff that's autistic, ADHD. So it's routine is really important. Mm-hmm. I've learned.
Yeah.
I'm not a expert in that stuff, but I've just learned over time. And so the best investment we've made is little index cards.
Yeah.
We just write their name on it and write the different things that we want them to do, and they just take the list and run with it. And then it's been great. But
that's exciting.
And they all, for the most part, get along. I mean, they're teenagers, so
right.
There's going to be that.
There's always something, right?
Overall, I found a great kitchen manager in Whitney that that I personally trained on some of those tasks that you were talking about, where I can kind of pass those on to her, and just kind of get out of some of the minutia of the stuff that it's got to get done, but anybody can do it.
Sure.
Type of thing. It doesn't have to be me.
Right.
Right. Not everything can be done by anybody. Don't get me wrong, but
sure.
She's been great, and she's been like my right-hand man in this kitchen.
That's exciting.
So it's been really great. So I can leave. I can have a little bit more of a balance, where I didn't have a weekend off for 2 years.
Yeah. And I mean, you were grinding away as the solo entrepreneur, right?
Telling my friends, it'd be great if you got married on a Thursday, I could go.
Right.
But
yeah.
Nobody listened.
Yeah, no one listened. That's funny. There's a book about systems that's pretty good. It's by Mike Michalowicz. It's called Clockwork.
Okay.
And it's basically a very short read. I've got a copy of it. It's and the author is very comical. So it's easy to read, but it's basically discovering your tasks that you do and which ones need processes behind them that you can quickly hand off to someone else, and what is your most important role in your position. And it could be this exercise could be for anybody in your staff, but for you, for being kind of like the vision of the company, right? It's how do you get all that other stuff out of the way so you can go and pursue what it is that you do best,
right.
As kind of the vision and designer of the business. And it's really neat to hear you say all those things. I was just reading it and I was like, oh yeah, systems. Because even with gym owners, they struggle with that. They struggle with, I wear all the hats, I do everything. If I wrote it down, I could have done it already. So why would I take the time to write it down? It's looking at it. It seems kind of silly, but when you're in the middle of it, you really don't think you have time to simply write a 5-step procedure or a quick recipe so that way you don't have to tell someone, right? It's like, well, why would I? I can just do it real quick, And did you find a lot of value in kind of forcing yourself to sit down and write some of that stuff out?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's because it takes, I don't have to be the one doing it all the time. And I know by writing the recipe down and then, demonstrating how it needs to be done several times with several different people. We cross-train everybody to do everything. So everybody knows our super secret turkey burger mix,
That's good. That's
and
important.
how to do it and how thick I want the patties and how the big around I need the patties so they all cook evenly. I love teaching people how to cook, but as opposed to just telling them what to do, I explain why we're doing it a certain way. I mentioned cutting potatoes, how big I want the potatoes. And no, we're not sitting there with a microscope and a tape measure.
Right.
But a lot of it's common sense. You don't want a piece the size of a die and then the other one's the size of a golf ball.
Right.
They're just not going to cook evenly, brown properly. And same thing with like turkey burgers. When we're patting up our turkey burgers, we don't want them too thick. We don't want them too thin. It's just, we explain kind of why we're doing what we're doing. And I think people appreciate learning the whys and not just the whats. You got to do this, this, but a lot of people want to know why just to learn something.
I'd say giving them the why gives them ownership as well, because if they understand that you want the product to be a certain way because of the flavor or whatever it is, then they're going to not only apply it to that, but they're going to apply it to other things they're doing. Right. And they might even innovate on that. They might go, well, we could get a better flavor if we did X, Y, Z, because they were thinking about the why versus I was told to cut it this way, so I cut it that way. And then I, autopilot, right? Yeah,
we don't want to build robots here, but at the same time, it's, we do have some systems in place, but I've been accused of being stubborn, being a little type A, being a little micromanaging. I just know what I like and know what works. Yeah. But I'm very open, and I can't tell you, there's been tons of stuff that I thought this was the best and only way. And a lot of times it was by mistake. Somebody did it a different way. I'm like, wait a minute. No, do that again. And it turned out to be a better way.
Yeah.
So I'm not the be all know all.
Sure.
I was just trying to get stuff done.
Yep.
So we can get our meals out on time. And that was, I thought, was the most efficient way to do it.
Well, because you're wearing every hat. Yeah. You didn't have time to iterate on the thing.
It's been a team effort. And it's been great to grow the team. I hope to hire more people.
Yeah.
As we grow and pay for this big old space that we have now too.
Yeah, that's exciting. What would you say was the most difficult part of your journey in this business?
In this business, probably understanding that you can't please everybody. Whether it's too spicy, not spicy enough. We have literally hundreds of different combinations of meals that you can make. But what's coming up now? You got anything new on the menu?
Yeah.
And we're trying,
Yeah.
And that's another reason to kind of take me out so I can work on the business, is to develop new menu items. Find out what our customers want. Sorry. But to keep the variety going, to keep it fresh.
Yeah.
That's something that's really big with our customers.
Yeah, and it's important too, right? I guess if you were just to throw out a whole bunch of new menu items, A, it'd probably be like too many for someone to choose. And then B, if you don't take the time to really develop it and push it and test it, then you might have maybe some flops or something, right? I noticed you're pretty slow with releasing your menu items, but when you do release one, it's usually really well received, and everybody loves it.
Yes,
which is probably a better to do it that way than the other way.
Well, I think luckily we built up, I think, some equity. Just people trust our cooking. So when we do come up with something new, that's our biggest seller by far. Yeah, and that either tells me that they'll trust me and they'll try it no matter what it is. Oh, wow. Or they really just want something new. It could be probably a combination of both. But, our thing is we keep adding stuff to the menu, but we haven't taken anything off.
That's really cool.
So it's kind of stretching ourselves a little bit thin in that area. So we want to continue to build this menu to a kind of like a Rolodex where we can kind of like then rotate it.
Yeah. Do you have metrics on your meals? Like, have you been tracking, I guess, hey, this menu item's just not, it's like one order a week or something. It's just probably worth dropping it or something.
Yeah, for the most part, we call them dogs in the food business. Oh, wow. Something that doesn't sell. Right. And we don't really have those.
That's
and
good.
every once in a while, we'll bring something on, like especially seasonal stuff. We did like a gazpacho one summer. And once it started getting a little chillier out, that the sales flopped off. We just took it off.
Yeah.
Same thing, like we had a salad, same thing. But I'll believe me, if it's not selling, I'm not going to keep it on the menu for much longer.
Sure.
So we'll bring it back.
Yeah.
But I'll make a guest appearance from now and then. But
yeah, it's probably not worth if it's an ingredient that isn't in your other meals, right?
yeah,
If it's something,
especially something that's independent just to that dish.
Yeah, I'll say that's
I'm
something
not a
I
big
learned.
fan of those dishes.
No. I learned something when I was working at Chick-fil-A back as a teenager, but that how many items were just the same thing, but kind of paired with something else. And it made it so easy for us in the back. And when you're talking about systems and stuff, I mean, we had diagrams where how large the chicken breast was supposed to be, or we refuse it, and it's supposed to have 3 points sticking out of the bun, like all these quality control things.
Yeah.
And it's like, it was just crazy the amount of effort. Obviously, a repeatable model like Chick-fil-A or like a franchise or something, they have that in place because it's important to their brand.
System-driven businesses.
Right. But it's really interesting to, as like an entrepreneur, to find yourself in that same space and thinking about those same things. And I think it's a testament to your knowledge and expertise that you are doing that stuff. You are caring about, how the patties are and all those different things. And people might say it's micromanaging, but at the same time, I'm sure you let up as people demonstrate
to have
it.
some systems and some rules, right? I mean,
Yeah.
But we were talking about those ingredients that are just specific to that one dish. We don't carry a lot of inventory. You can walk in our walk-in cooler right now, and there's hardly anything in it. So if we buy stuff to keep our costs down, we buy stuff in bulk. And if I'm not using it, mostly all up during that week, that's not our style. We buy all of our chicken, all of our beef, all of our fresh salmon, all of our produce fresh every week. There's a couple things back there that, we'll carry over.
Sure.
But for the most part, we only buy what we need, and then we buy it again. So if it's something that's not selling, I'm just wasting money.
Yeah.
Or if we're holding it too long, it's not the quality that we want.
Right.
So that's just many reasons why we don't keep it on.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So, but we're having a blast. This new place it was a lot of hard work to get it ready, but just very, very grateful that we're even sitting here, let alone in our own space. It's crazy.
Does it feel surreal?
There hasn't been many days that go by that I can't believe that we're doing this.
Wow.
I don't think about it. So.
Do you have any recommendations for someone who is maybe a cog in a machine somewhere and just wants to get out and do their side hustle, do their thing that really makes them passionate, but they're like, how on earth can I make any money? I mean, you had a little bit of luck, I guess. You tried something and it just kind of took off.
Yeah.
But for some people, they might be too afraid to even try that, right? Would you give any advice or tips or just to someone?
Well, everybody's in a different position, right? I mean, I started this thing kind of because I had to. I didn't have another job. And this was kind of like a hobby. But I think just to try it, if you have something that you like to do or you think that you could make a business out of, do it on the weekends. Pull a couple jobs. You got your 9 to 5, but if you really want this to work, you're gonna have to at least tip your toe in the water.
Sure.
So you're gonna have to work 2 jobs basically, and give it a go. And thing that I didn't do, I wish I'd done a little bit earlier, is talk to people a lot smarter than me when it comes to this stuff.
It's like a mentor or something.
Mentors, just people who've just run businesses before. I don't know how to do a website, but I found an IT guy.
There you go.
He's a friend of mine that I work out with. I do my own taxes, turbo taxes, but I can't do corporate taxes. I don't want to do corporate taxes. Sure. I got enough problems. I don't want to get in trouble with the government. So I hired an accountant. Social media. That's another thing. Social media is a really easy way to get into a business. It's the cheapest way. It's basically free.
Sure, just
to get your name out there.
Yeah.
So if you're going to try this on the side, create your own business page on whatever vehicle you want to use, right? I was never a big social media kind of guy. I was more of a, they call them stalkers. Oh, they look, but they don't comment.
You're a lurker. Lurker. Yeah. Stalker is probably a little different.
I told you before we started.
No, I hear what you mean. I think they call them lurkers, but yeah.
And I've turned into a little social media ninja. Yeah. Just with the posts that we have to do. And
well, because you're using it as a tool, right? You have an objective versus, oh, here's me. I'm doing whatever today. Like, hey, this is my business.
Yeah. So it's, but we had nothing. I had to give my company laptop back to the company that I worked for, so I didn't have a laptop.
Oh, wow.
A buddy of mine gave me his extra laptop. A friend of mine designs. She's in design. She designed our logo.
Yeah. That's awesome.
It's just we've had a lot of support from the very beginning that I will never forget. The people that have kind of reached their hands out, didn't ask anything for in return.
Wow.
I'll feed people, Yeah. That's the best way that I can, when you're just starting out, that's the best way you can pay them.
Sure. So you saw specialists and you sought people through the community that could kind of help you take it off. And then, of course, you said you wish you'd mentorship or something. Is that something you're doing now, like reaching out to business owners or?
Yeah. I've joined, networking is huge, obviously.
Yeah.
With the RVA Collective, that's been great.
Good.
There's a lot of, old friends that I don't get to see too much, but I've met a lot of new people too. And networking is huge. Mm-hmm. And, you'll be surprised. You think you have a very unique idea, but there's probably 5 or 6 other people either doing it, trying to do it, did it. And they can give you advice, pointers. This is what I did. And I wish I didn't do that. Or I would do it differently. Just ask. Don't be so proud, and just ask for help and ask for advice and ask for opinions and just jump.
Just jump. Awesome. That's exciting. Do you have anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, just, we're on Instagram and Facebook on the Mark Meals. Our website is onthemarkmeals.com. We try to keep it as complicated as we could.
That's straight up, right?
Yeah. So,
put in your orders by Wednesday, right?
Wednesday by midnight, and you'll be able to pick them up here at the kitchen on Sundays or at 16 other different pickup locations on Mondays.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much.
I really appreciate it. Thanks for the time.
Thanks for tuning in to the RVA Affiliate Collective podcast. This is Joe Ellis. Be sure to follow us on iTunes and give us a subscribe. Also check us out on YouTube under the same name, RVA Affiliate Collective. Thank you. Have a good one.